Welcome back to What She Said Sports. Let me make sure y'all can see me. All right. How's everybody doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So we'll be back tonight at 10:35, but we have to, this is our pop-up. That's what I'm gonna call it. It's a pop-up where things are happening, and I can tell you things are happening. I was on the community today, I was on X, and you know, I said it yesterday, every time we talk about Colorado lately, that the quarterback situation is not about the quarterback situation. That there's a bigger picture, there's something happening here, um, and it's happening everywhere, but it's also happening at CU. So if you saw the thumbnail, it says Coach Prime in control. Is he backpedaling? Is he switching up? Right? Because these are things that are being said all over social media, including Instagram, that I just left. So there are people that believe that Coach Prime or CU, pick one, football did Kate Salsa dirty. Now, we already talked after the game. We talked about how Caden was set up and Juju, not just Caden. See, people want to keep focusing on Caden because they want that QB1 spot. That's really what this is about, a power grab. Why is it a power grab? Because Coach Prime, we're going to listen to his interview when he named Caden and Juju the starter. Caden the starter with Juju being, I guess, the QB2, or he just going to get out there. So there are people saying that Caden was done dirty. You can pick as to who is doing the dirt. I say Pat Schumer for sure, right? But Pat Schumer can only do what Coach Prime allowed. At least that's what we think, which is why I'm asking who's in control here. It don't make sense that not 2 weeks ago, August 28th, Coach Prime named Caden the starter, and he mentioned Juju is going to get in there. I didn't hear nothing about Ponder. I didn't hear nothing about Stop. But miraculously, today, it's floating around on social media that the expected starter, or Ryan Staub, has been named the starter. On Twitter, few people posted and liked that they watched a Utah game from 2023, proving that Staub is good. I already knew this was coming. Staub looked like he better than Shador. I'm like, oh my God, really? Really, here we go. What I was talking about. This is what I saw coming. See, this ain't about Ryan Staub starting. This is about undermining Coach Prime and his decision. It's going to start with the QB1 decision. And then when they prove him that he was inept on that decision, then they're going to start questioning all his decisions. Well, should you have really dismissed those people back when you first got here? Should you really have fired Sean Lewis? Because understand, that's coming. Understand here, that's where we headed. Should you really have, in year 2, after going 4-8 with Shador, start your son over Ryan Staub? Should you really have brought in Caden Salter? Should you really have brought in Juju over Ryan Staub? Don't nobody talk about Ponder, but he good too. The worst thing Coach Prime has done was hire Pat Schumer. I'm just going to put it out there because this is why it's happening. I said it when we talked about Pat Schumer's interview, how he boldly admitted he helped Staub. But guess what's being said today? That Shador helped Staub too. You see how that worked? First, it was all Pat Schumer. Now Shador helped Staub too. Now people saying, who did Caden Salter dirty? You see? And I already told you, Well Off Media's camera was prejudicial going into the game because they kept showing Staub. I was like, okay, something going on. Now people are saying Well Off Media camera is the reason that some reporter ran out and said Staub is going to be the starter because he watched the video. He saw what I saw coming into the week of Delaware game, and he heard Coach Prime say that Ryan Staub has taken most of the reps. Now, when he said Ryan Staub has taken most of the reps, I was traumatized because that goes straight back to Cleveland. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Now, we had a competition all summer long, right? And yeah, I know Coach Prime wasn't there, but he knew what was going on. We had a competition all summer long, and we're going to listen to Coach Prime on his decision to make Caden the starter. And then look at the about face that's trying to happen right now. There are people on the comments of his press conference today saying Coach Prime is not going to let the media dictate the decisions that he makes. I'm like, well, that should be the case, right? Because we should be letting the media pressure, because the pressure's there. The pressure's there. It's undeniable. And here's the thing, it's been there. We are just now seeing it. We are just now seeing it. The pressure is thick for Coach Prime to change his mind. So for people coming to me in my comments saying that they don't care about the pressure, they feel like Staub is the best. I'm like, keep saying it. And you're going to be right back here in about a month or two talking about they did Coach Prime dirty. Because that's what you're going to be saying, because that's where you're headed. That's where you're headed. I don't give a damn who the quarterback is. I told you that. You better focus on that defense. You better focus on that defense. Ryan Staub was good in a very short window, also in a controlled, simulated environment. Caden didn't get that benefit, and neither did Juju. And that should be a problem for a lot of people. You shouldn't even care who the damn quarterback is. You should want to know why it is people are trying to undermine Coach Prime, who just made a decision that he didn't hesitate about not 2 weeks ago. You should want to know why, if he didn't mention Ryan Staub, are they trying to force Ryan Staub? You should want to know why it is Caden and Juju didn't get the same advantage as Ryan Staub. You should want to know why they're propping up Ryan Staub, to prove that Coach Prime is not good at decision making, and that's going to be the beginning of the end for him. Get mad if you want to, but I'm telling you, I told you this is where we was going. When I saw somebody on X say after the Utah video was going around, see, people want to put the Utah video out there as proof that Ryan Staub is good. Let me tell you what I saw when I saw the clip of the Utah video. And I just finished watching the highlights. I saw Ryan Staub had an O-line when Shedeur didn't. Way back then. That's what I saw. And that's all you're going to see, because there's not a lot of highlights of the offense. You can go back and watch the whole game. For people to say they think Ryan Staub is better than Shedeur, they're going exactly where I thought they was going to go with this. Next, it's going to be justification to take Shedeur off the jersey down. It's going to be justification to move away from Coach Prime because he's not good at decision making. That's what they're going to say. He should have never got rid of all those other players. Look, they went 4-8. Look, Staub was better, but he didn't give Staub a chance. Then they're going to be saying this. They don't be saying that. Coach Prime know what he's doing. Coach Prime is intelligent. He's media savvy. He's marketing savvy. I think he has a good sense of awareness. I know he's strategic. And last I checked, he don't really bow to pressure like that. But the pressure is thick. And with Pat Schumer chiming in with the pressure, boldly telling everybody that he helped in the game. He helped Ryan Staub. Because they wanted everybody to see that Coach Prime should have chosen Ryan Staub, that Coach Prime should have not chosen Caden Salter, which is why I think we have a QB tracker. That's why we have the situation from Cleveland. Why did Cleveland do it? Cleveland used the QB tracker, and I don't even know if they had one a year before, but they used one this year because they drafted Shedeur and they wanted to prove he wasn't ready. They wanted to move away from their draft decision with their two quarterbacks. They wanted to create separation. But did it work? No. It didn't work at all. I mean, the tracker was functional. We saw Shedeur was the best, but Cleveland didn't give a damn, which meant the tracker was intended to show Shedeur in a bad light, but it didn't work. It was intended to put Dylan in a better situation, but it didn't work. So why, if after Coach Prime named Caden Salter the starter, not 2 weeks ago, are we reviewing all three quarterbacks? And what Juju got to do with this? Why didn't Ponder get consideration? Why didn't Ryan Staub get consideration? These are all questions that's going to be asked. So let's take a listen to this, because I think in this interview they were asking him, well, what made you decide to go with Caden? And I know the reason they asked him this question It's because they didn't like his choices. After Shedeur was gone, I guess they thought Ryan Staub was up next. But that ain't how it's working at a lot of other schools. So I don't know why it's got to work that way at CU. I would think the head coach could make whatever decision he want to make regarding talent, and you would trust it and believe that he know what he doing. But that's not what happened. That's not what's happening at all. All right. So we're going to go back to this. We'll take a listen. All right.
Feeling down good about it. We got two guys that are capable of getting the job done. Kate Salter's going to start. You guys knew that. I don't know why you felt like you wasn't going to. He's going to start. The kid has a ton of experience, dual threat, throw the heck out of the ball as well. He's the guy. He's the guy at this point. We're praying and we're hoping that you see some juju periodically through the game as well. We would like to get him some reps as well, but the game predicates that.
What did you like about Kid? What did he show you throughout camp?
All right, so you heard that, right? This was August 28th. This is Buff Stampede. This was August 28th. From what I could hear, this was going into the Colorado Georgia Tech game. So as you can see right here, Coach Prime named Kaden Salter the starter not 2 weeks ago. Ahead of Georgia Tech, and you was going to see a bit of Juju, right? But in order to see a bit of Juju, we're praying what needed to happen. We needed to be good. And we were right out the gate. And then what? Pat Schumer held our offense back. Now you know why. Now you know why. See, this is not just about Kaden. This is about Kaden and Juju. This is about holding everybody back so Style could get to the front. That's what this is about. That's why there's no mention of Ponder. You don't see Schumer advocating for Ponder. All you hear is Schumer talking about his relationship with Style. You didn't hear him with any type of feedback for Kaden or Juju, but you saw them get sacked. Now go back and watch Utah 2023 versus Colorado, and you're going to see Ryan Staub had an O-line. And then I want you to watch the game before it and Colorado's game after it when Shedeur was in. And I want you to tell me the difference. So that tells you going way back then, Ryan Staub had the protection because that's who they want to be the quarterback. And it's not just happening at CU. I told you 17 to 32 starts in college. And I'm looking at what's happening in the NFL, and it's shameful. I don't listen to any of the other channels. Don't follow any Cleveland people. Can't do it because they are doing the same thing. Holding back other people or putting them in a bad light so you could just kick them to the curb so we could get rid of 17 to 32 to make sure it don't happen. And look how extreme they were in the draft with Shedeur. People saying Ryan Staub is better than Shedeur. Where the hell that come from? How the hell is Ryan Staub better than Shedeur? I'd say Ryan Staub learned from Shedeur. But at the end of the day, overall, Kaden was still the better quarterback. But it don't matter. Because they were asking Coach Prime in that press conference, what would make you think and pick Kaden? They didn't like his choice after he said it. That meant all through the competition, when we were over in our respective cities thinking it's just Kaden and Juju, they didn't like that. And this is why they so hyped. This is why the school is booing Kaden. That ain't got nothing to do with Kaden. And then today in the rec center, they decide to make their intentions known on who the starter should be. So I'm going to tell you where we are. We at the part where Coach Prime going to have to play Ryan Staub. If not, his season going to go straight to hell like it did when he was 4-8. It sure is. Because he can't even stop the guys who let Kaden Salter and Juju get sacked. He can't stop it. If Ryan Staub had protection in 2023 that Shedeur didn't, they were telling him way back then they had a preference. And they've been pulling the strings since then. And they still doing it. And now Kaden and Juju are roped up in it. With people not liking what you see on the screen. CU players, CU students letting them know who they want the starter to be. I don't give a damn what you think. It should be about what Coach Prime thinks, but we gone from there. We done moved on from that bus has left the station. That ship has sailed. The pressure is thick. That's why you're seeing a Kevin Stefanski system to create some separation and to move away from a decision. Personally, I think he's gonna rotate them all. He better rotate them all, because as you can see, he was dead set 2 weeks ago, right? If he move away and hand this over, will be a victory for the people that say he can't lead, he's not good decision making. This ain't gonna work, because he knows, just like we know, Kaden Salter and Juju was set up. He know that. There are some people that are upset and feel like he's switching up because it's reported that Sincere Brown did not get a game ball, but everybody else did. And everybody else that did was different looking, lacked the melanin. You thought that Sincere Brown would have got one too. I didn't say nothing about that. I'm telling you, my caption reads the temperature on social media on various platforms. Did Salter dirty? Is he bowing to the pressure? Why didn't Sincere Brown get a game ball? Is he switching up? Why is it Kaden was just named a starter and Pat Schumer helped Ryan Staub and held back Kaden and Juju? And why is it that's the case? Why you going with what Pat put out there for us to see? Why you going with the simulated controlled environment for Ryan Staub? I ain't saying he gonna do it. I'm saying that's where we at. Now, me personally, I know Coach Prime is smart. I know he's strategic. And I can't believe, as a male Leo, he would allow the media, some students, and hold on one second. That he would allow the media, students, boosters, and anybody else to force him to change his mind, knowing all too well that Kaden and Juju was set up just like his son. What he should walk away with is, y'all still at it, huh? Y'all still trying to take down my choices, because that's what this is about. I felt like Coach Prime has been pressured with certain players who were already at CU are concerned. I think this is another one. I think if he wanted to include Ryan Staub, he would have. But I think the pressure is too thick for him to walk away from Ryan Staub. And if he does, from what I could see, somebody got their grips on the program on the right side of the O-line still. His program will go 4-8. I said that last night. We're going to be headed right back there. So he almost they're making it near impossible for him to move forward with Kaden and Juju. But guess where that's going to cause a problem at? Recruiting. Their parents. The perception that he's not in control. See, there's more at stake here. More for Coach Prime to actually lose for the first time in his coaching career if he bows to the pressure to start Ryan Staub. When you make a decision 2 weeks ago to start Kaden Salter and to play Juju, and you never get to play Juju because your offensive coordinator set up your quarterback, and then you go to the second game and y'all change up the play calling to be more balanced, but you still see the right side of your O-line that set up your son, setting up Juju and Kaden so that Ryan Staub could appear better, so that now you bow to all of the pressure that you are getting to start Ryan Staub, which means that you get ready to backpedal off the decision you made 2 weeks ago to start Kaden Salter. If he did something wrong, I get it, but he didn't. And people pointed out, when Kaden was in the game and started, he was good. I don't care if you don't like his style of quarterbacking. He's still a good quarterback. He's not Shador, and that's what we used to seeing. Ryan Staub looks more like Shador, but if he was that guy, he wouldn't need to be propped up. If Kaden wasn't that guy, nobody would need to be setting him up. So, Coach Prime been rolling with these guys all summer. All summer. Juju was going to be his one. Then they went and got Kaden. And so Kaden can have some leadership experience over Juju, and you can see they have a good working relationship. And Coach Prime been rolling with these two guys right here on your screen. Even announced going into Georgia Tech, Kaden would lead the team because he's done it before. And somebody decided to make sure that Juju don't get in and Kaden don't look good. Willing to lose the game, just like they did when we went 4-8. It's the same thing. It's just we at the beginning of the season. So while people on, I think it's on the Well Off Media or Reach the People Media, I think it's either Well Off, are saying Coach Prime is not going to let the media force him into a decision. Okay. But when you have Well Off Media cameras showing you style, that's why the man ran with it. Because if he like me, I saw it last week. So that means that Well Off Media is also part of that pressure to go with Staub. And when people come out and say Shador helped Ryan Staub too, well, it looked like they don't like Kaden. And that's when people will be right when they say they doing Kaden dirty. And it ain't just Coach Prime. But the crazy part of it is, why do Kaden like the way Shador is being mistreated? Why would you do that? That means your lens isn't wide enough to see the overall picture of the power grab that's happening here. This is about removing and relinquishing and diminishing Coach Prime's decision-making ability and power going forward. This is about proving he was wrong and inept in decision-making on Kaden and Juju. This is trying to force him to backpedal. This is trying to force him to bend to their will. And I know he's smart enough to know that. And throwing Shador into the mix is making it ugly to divide the team. That's what that's about. If Coach Prime picked Kaden Salter, I don't care whether it's Well Off Media's camera lens, Pat Schumer, or the students in the rec center or the students at the game. Y'all got to respect the man. He didn't get this far by not being a good decision maker. So why set it up to make him bend to your will? It better work. If he bend, it better work. That's all I know. Because it's going to cost either way. It's going to cost either way. Because you're going to sit up and consider backtracking because people close to you and people who you employ want somebody else. Where the hell were they when the competition was going on? Well, where the hell were they when he made his decision? You heard the man's decision, right? So for the people closest to the situation who think that Ryan Staub changing Pat Schumer plays vindicates Shador, it does not. It proves that Jim Crow is alive and well. Because Shador catching hell for changing Pat Schumer plays. And Ryan Staub will not. In fact, he said he didn't even want to go to the league, but he going to get a special invitation. You best believe this is that year. Just like last year. It's funny how people get upset when somebody like myself, who's well-researched, who is looking at everything that's happening on various platforms and comes and shares it with you before the larger media tells you and people get upset. So today, our chat is subscribers only. It's subscribers only because uninformed people just in their feelings when they don't even know what's going on. If you look at the thumbnail, I show a text bubble with Coach Prime with Kevin Stefanski in it. Why? Because we're doing the same thing that Cleveland did. And whose idea was that? And why now? Shouldn't you have run a Kevin Stefanski style QB competition in the summer to arrive at who the starter is? Some people say Coach Prime is showing Kevin Stefanski how to do it. Okay. Let's see who it worked for. People don't understand a power grab when they see it right in their face. They don't. If I have to question mark, is he in control? Is he backpedaling? Is he switching up? Because that's what people are thinking. I've already told y'all about on X how people were saying before Georgia Tech that Colorado was a shit show. And now you know why. Because they didn't like the fact that the competition was highlighted between Kaden and Juju. See, people talking about push Caden out the way. No. They ain't trying to just push Caden out the way. They trying to push Caden and Juju out the way. And this year it's gonna be Ryan Staub, and next year it's gonna be somebody else of their choice. You don't throw Juju in for collateral damage like you did CU program in the draft, because that's what's happening. Juju should have never been out there. And if Coach Prime chose Caden and Juju to go 1 and 2, then that's what he need to stick with. But he didn't say Juju was a 2. He just say you're gonna see him. He wanted to put him out there. Now, why he wanted to put him out there, I have no idea. But it seemed like to me he should have checked with Pat Schumer to find out what the play calling was gonna look like, because it wasn't conducive for 2 quarterbacks. It wasn't even conducive for the 1. That was set up for 330 yards on the ground, limiting Caden to a game manager, which tells me Pat Schumer was already working to highlight Ryan Staub. This is a public walk back. Pressurized walk back. This is what they want Coach Prime to do. Walk back his decisions on Caden and Juju. I told y'all I didn't like the fact that right before the game, people who have access to CU were pressuring, talking about Juju's going to start more than Caden. What the hell is that to be saying? Why we don't respect Caden? And if we want to run a Stefanski style competition, why we didn't do it last year? And why we doing it after there was already a decision? Let me see what y'all are saying. And if y'all know about Sincere getting the ball game, game ball, let me know for sure. All right, so we're in subscribers chat only mode because a lot of people can't. A lot of people not new or don't understand the overall picture. Something we've been talking about with the NFL, with Cleveland, and unfortunately now at Colorado, it's spreading. It's a virus. They just can't handle this conversation. So we're subscribers only. What's up, fam? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good evening, good evening, good evening. It said the boosters won't stop. Okay. I need somebody on the ground. Are you on the ground? Titus, thank you. How you doing? Staub is a Dylan Gabriel. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know, because I only saw him play in the Utah game where people talking about he was better than Shador. Did he play the whole game for 159 yards? And how is the head better than Shador, who puts up 300 to 400 yards? Again, that's what people want. And that's what I was cautioning people about, that this is where we were headed yesterday. It said the only Jackson State players left are Tyler Brown, Jeremiah Brown, and Alejandro Mata. And there's a post going around today talking about, can we get back to the same play caller from Jackson State? And they showed a picture of Brett Bertolone. That's what people should be calling for. People that think they want to see Ryan Staub, you should be calling for a change in the guard at the OC, because that's the whole problem. And they're not going to stop at Ryan Staub. That's going to be the beginning of taking your fave down. You better understand that's where we at. He ain't going to have, just like Mike Tomlinson, he ain't going to have no problem. They trying to prove him wrong. And just like anything else, if I can prove that you were wrong in the decision to name Caden the starter and Juju to be the guy to play in Georgia Tech over Staub, if I start there, they're going to go all the way back to when he came through the door with the Louis luggage. It's going to reach out. People already saying Travis is trash, that he shouldn't have won the Heisman. See, this is why you can't give certain people an inch. This is why you can't back down from your decisions and let them force you. Of course, you can change your mind. You can always change your mind, but you can't let them force you to change your mind. People asked if they thought Coach Prime was tiptoeing a little bit off, maybe sure leaving Pat Schumer in place, because maybe it would hurt Shador in Cleveland. But people also pointed out how many inactive CU players in the NFL, how many there were. Only Travis played, and Zay Weaver had no targets. And Travis is being trashed today, saying how the hell did he win the Heisman, because he didn't do nothing on defense. Sound like he damned if he do it, he damned if he don't. Because if he keep rolling with his decision, Caden, And they just gonna keep setting him up like they did Shador. That ain't fair to Caden. But is it fair to bench Caden to bend to their will for Ryan Staub? And what they gonna do if they put Ryan Staub out there and it don't work out? Then you're gonna look like you shouldn't have been to their will. So if I were him, leave Juju where he is and get him some development, get true development, because I don't think he's being developed in the way he should be. He already came through the door as a great pocket passer. What he needs help with is pressure on the line. And that should have happened already. So I would get Juju a QB coach, and I would use the scout team to apply pressure until he gets used to it. They were talking about Tua in Miami, that players could see when they were coming towards him and the first read was taken away, he panics because they don't know what else to do because these guys not used to get hit like that. I don't know if Ryan Staub is used to being sacked. I don't know. People want to trash U of H. I'm like, U of H get 200 yards on the ground, and we already got a run game problem. I don't give a damn who U of H played. We still have a run game problem. I saw a clip of Taufik Bayard doing exactly what I said as edge rushing. He better start. Taufik Bayard and French Montana need to be on that. Montavious French need to be on the field at the same time. Because they bring the energy, the intensity. Again, we so bogged down in what's going on with the quarterback situation. And now what's going on with people trying to undermine Coach Prime and force him to change his mind, force him to change his decision, a recent decision that's only 2 weeks old, which will make him look incompetent. That we can't even realize what the hell is going on with the defense. So I'm going to try to get into that before we get to Friday. When we come back tonight at 10:35, it's going to either be Shador and the Buffs, or it's going to be our Shador. But I try to tell y'all, this is where we were headed. When they put out this tick list of who the students at CU wanted to see, remember they booed Caden Salter. What they got to do with it? And what they know? Because people been talking. There's been a pressure cooker all summer since the competition was mainly Juju and Ryan Staub. This over here to the left with the votes for Ryan Staub tells you this is why they were booing Caden. Why they booing Caden? They don't know him. They just don't want him to be QB1. They kind of like Juju, but they don't like Caden. And people didn't like that they put this out because they act like Juju and Caden don't have any feelings. Now, I told y'all can keep underestimating Caden if y'all want to. He ain't no soft dude. He's a respectful professional from what I could see. He better than me. Because I wouldn't sit next to Pat Schumer no more. Because he clearly betrayed you. But everybody talking about Ryan Staub should start. Sure, I told you it don't matter who the hell the quarterback is. It matters what the hell the defense going to do. It does matter right now what Coach Prime is going to do. What I think he should do is rotate them. If he go with Staub the whole game and he back off of Caden, he better reaffirm Juju in some way, shape, or form, or he going to lose Caden and Juju. Remember, they know each other. If you watch Well Off over the last couple of years, when they show Schumer, Shador, Jimmy, Travis hovering over the iPad, Staub is looking over their shoulders like a little brother. Yeah, and that's fine. That ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. Lee said it's all out on war. Yep. It said you don't get on your quarterback after one game. Yep. That's what I mean. This gonna be, see, this the implications right here. This is exactly an implication right here. You just made this decision 2 weeks ago. And it's obvious to everybody watching he was set up. And you're going to move away from him after he was set up? That ain't a good look. It's going to make people question were you in on the setup. And when you look at Well Off Media and how they're handling this situation, and now people coming out and saying Shador was helping Staub, it ain't a good look. Because what you're going to do is help your daddy lose his job. Understand that. Because that's next. Because if they can prove that he wasn't good with this decision making, they will, I promise you, They're going to go back to the very beginning. You shouldn't have fired Sean Lewis. Pat Schumer trash too. And you see Pat Schumer still work there. Now you ought to wonder why. You ought to wonder why he still worked there. People thinking they vindicate Shador. You ain't vindicate Shador. He gone. He catching hell in the NFL for changing Pat Schumer plays. It's documented. So I would just be quiet and realize the bigger picture here is Coach Prime's job is under attack to the point you don't even know who's in control. Even Pat Schumer said in his interview that we looked at yesterday, part 2 of it was 45 seconds left on the clock, and Coach Prime asked him what he want to do. And he said, He said, Staub is in. So that meant Staub was up for 45 seconds. Pat Schumer say, okay, let's go. Staub had already been practicing. He already knew his time was going to be limited. So Pat Schumer helped him get it together. Conversely, he helped to hold back Juju and Caden. See, that's the part I don't like. Why not just let it be a fair fight? Was it not a fair fight over the summer? Maybe that's why it's not a fair fight right now. It's called a hot mess. And going back to that text that I shrugged off, that tweet that I shrugged off, it was right. It was right. They been talking about this at CU. They did not like Coach Prime's choices of Juju and Caden. He sees that they were set up, but what are you going to do about it? In control, switching up, backpedaling. All question marks. I told you, Houston, the barometer of what's really going on and what's going to happen is the Houston game. And now we're not going to a football game to win a football game. We're going to a football game to watch a power struggle play out. That's the beginning of the end, ladies and gentlemen. That you would even let it get to this point. That boy Wig was correct. Coach Prime named Caden the starter. You better stick with it. Yeah, they're going to try to tear down your program, but that should give you some people to fire, right? That should give you some more people to fire. Because if you turn on Caden and you turn on Juju, or you put Juju in an impossible situation and you turn on Caden and they know each other, they have history, these quarterbacks going to talk. Your recruiting is going to suffer. You're going to have to get players that can change Pat Schumer's play calling because you can't fire Pat Schumer. Power struggle, people. That's where we're going into Houston. It ain't even about a football game no more. It's not. It's not even about a football game no more. It's about, is Coach Prime going to stick to his decision? Is he going to play 2 quarterbacks so he don't have to move away from Caden, so he don't piss off people who won't stop? That's what Houston is about. That's where we headed. Nobody talking about the defense, but that's what everybody should be talking about. Because they gave up 300 yards to a team that scored 7 points. Yep, it's a war. It's a power struggle. It's the power struggle. Let me see what else y'all saying. It said the team lost 23 starters. He's rotating everybody, including QBs. He doesn't have to rotate QBs because he already named a starter, and he should stick with it or be prepared to lose one way or the other. He not if that was the case, there would have never been no competition in the summer. Texas breed football. U of H will be ready. Trust me. Okay, Beach. We looking to see. We looking to see. It's that Pat Schumer is trash. Yeah. That's the main problem right there. See, that's the main problem. And honestly, he should be gone. But the fact that he's still there tells me that either Coach Prime can't fire him or he doesn't want to. But the fact that he was going to bring in Byron Leftwich as the offensive analyst tell me he knew that there was a problem. And he should have. Why? Because Shador had to go through this. And again, it didn't work for Shador. It's working for Staub. And at a time where the NFL is trying to find all the white quarterbacks they can, hell, Staub going, he going to punch his ticket. And they're going to make sure he go before Shador. Like somebody said on X today, Staub better than Shador. This is why you can't open to the door to this type of being undermined. You can't do it. This is why you can't do it. Because when it starts, it becomes a flood. Kaden Salter will be the death of his QB result. And no, Kaden Salter's not going to be the death. His decision making is going to be the death. Honestly, if he don't do what they want him to do, then it's going to be a problem. And then if he goes away from the quarterbacks that he chose, it's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem either way. When you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. If you open the door, if he allows the pressure to make him bend to their will, there will be no end in sight for it. There will be no end in sight. And then conversely, if he don't do what they say, they're going to set him up like they did in year one. Choose carefully. Pat Schumer is the worst hire he could have had. This one worse than the last OC. This is why he should have went Brett Bertelon. This is exactly why the guys he brought from Jackson State should have been his year ones, because he could trust them. That's gonna be the dagger right there. Salter collusion. Route the defense also. Yep. Running is not what? I don't know what you're saying, Monique. How you doing? Welcome back. It's the subscribers on the chat. Feel free to share your opinion. It said Pat Schumer NFL record is atrocious. Right. And it's going to prove that, and that's going to be another decision. See, that's why I kind of think he's still there. Because, okay, you got rid of Lewis when Shedeur was there. Then Pat Schumer came in and Shedeur had to call all kind of plays. And people talking about what are audibles for? Audibles are plays that the quarterback and the coach have already discussed that can be used. That's why they got the little armband where they could go and look at the other plays that they could call. But hot dogging it and doing your own thing, and like they said on the little post, there was no recourse for Shedeur to be making these decisions, and he made mistakes. So they holding it against him because you went against your OC and you messed up. But that's not going to happen with Ryan Staub. And that's where y'all can't see that this is no different than what's happening in the NFL. Tyler Shaw was the 8th, E-I-G-T-H, or E-I-G-H-T-H, 8th ranked quarterback. And they still took him ahead of Shedeur. People talking about they trying to humble him. No, they're not. They're retaliating for exactly what happened at CU that Ryan Staub is doing. So for the people related to Shedeur that's cheering on Ryan Staub, I'm like, y'all clearly don't see the vision here. You don't see the vision here. You don't see what's happening. They're going to prop Ryan Staub up. And somebody that didn't want to go to the league, going to go to the league, and they're going to make sure he go before Shedeur. So for all the people that think they vindicate Shedeur, them people don't work like that. They don't work like that. They ain't backpedaling. They're using their collective voices and all of the pressure from all summer long to try to force Coach Prime into changing his decision, even if that means setting up his program to fail. Hence the Georgia Tech game. Why did he even pick K-Salt if they had Staub? That's a good question, Val. That's a good question, right? The question is, if you listen to the interview, Coach Prime said, because Caden has the experience, because he's already gone undefeated. And he does have the experience. Again, Caden was tied for quarterbacks with Cade Klubnik, who's at the top 5. So, again, even the Big 12 had good hopes for him at rushing. Pat Schumer shut all that shit down. The question is, why hasn't Pat Schumer been fired? It's not why was Caden brought to CU. Coach Prime said it. He would have gladly given Ryan Staub, I guess you could say, a letter of recommendation, which means he was willing to let him walk. So what does that tell you? What is Lewis doing now? I think he coaching San Jose State or something like that. Coach Prime was fighting for his life while Pat Schumer was plotting his demise. There you go. Lewis, he at San Diego. Okay, I said San Jose. He's the coach at San Diego State. Schumer been injecting his poison while Prime was sick. Yup. And honestly, when you listen to him talk, he's telling you, when they were doing the recruiting, because y'all covered it, Staub and I have a relationship. In other words, he didn't give a damn about the recruiting. He didn't like it. And just like he didn't like the recruiting, what do you think all the people that was booing Caden know what's going on? How do you think they know what's going on? How do you know what they possibly know what the hell is going on? Most people don't know what's going on with a football program. Colorado seems like they never fully gave Coach Prime control of the team. Plus the fact that he revealed his illness, they will say he can't handle the job. Yep. This is such a setup. Right. And let me tell you what they were saying when they was in the box. Oh, yeah, he's struggling. No, he said he's affected mentally, not just physically, but mentally at the loss of his sons. So he don't know what he's doing because Shador and them gone. They're going to say anything. That's why Hood and Savion left, right? And I saw a clip from what's his name, Colton Hood, and they asked him why he left. He said he wanted to go to he said he saw a dominant SEC defense. Let me see if I can play it for y'all. He told you why he left, and he ain't gonna be the only one to leave. Y'all don't understand. People see what's going on. Them kids just can't leave yet because they changed that portal window, which is what I told y'all gonna save this program. Because if they could leave, they will be gone. Let me see if I can share. Let's see. Zach Atkins made top power 4 tight ends this week. That's good for him. That's good for him. Don't be surprised if he get poached. All right, let's see if I can show y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna share this to y'all so y'all can see how what people are really saying. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to, all right, you should be able to see my page. This is, okay, I'm going to take down the chart. So yeah, this is what the division has already been occurring. It's just not spilling over to us. And once the fan base, Coach Prime fan base start being divided, that's all she wrote. See, this has been going on. We just not finding out about it. All right, so somebody posted, it said, oh, I follow them. Saturday Tailgaters. Can we go back to the Jackson State days of calling the plays, please? How many times did y'all hear me say Brett Bertelon should be the offensive coordinator? See, that's the decision. When you get a do-over, that's your decision right there. If God give him a do-over, that's the decision. That's the decision right there. It said Staub had days in the pocket on every throw except that last one. He won't have that kind of time versus U of H. Some people say U of H isn't good in terms of I don't know, blocking the pass. We'll see. And some people say dude played Delaware. Somebody else to my dude might be better than Shador. I'm like, oh Lord. But this right here, what happened today? Colorado was expected to start third string QB Ryan Staub over 5-star Julian Lewis and senior transfer Kader Salter. You see that right there? Now, I watched Coach Prime's interview. He said he wishes they could get back to the integrity of reporting because he didn't tell them who was going to start. But they're saying the guy that posted that, the Pete Thamel guy, whoever that is, whoever said that Ryan Staub was supposed to be the starter, got that information from Well Off Media because they were showing Staub practicing with the ones. And when I heard practicing with the ones and the fact that Coach Prime confirmed that Staub had the most reps, I was like, I just feel so traumatized right now. It's just dragging me back to Cleveland. And I blocked Cleveland for a reason. And there are some people that are like, Coach Prime showing them what a QB competition should look like. I'm like, not really, because the QB competition was over the summer. So why are we running it back? That's the question. If that was a competition over the summer, Coach Prime made his decision. Why are we running it back? If this was his choice, why are we running it back? So what you're saying is he didn't make the right choice. That's what you're saying. And I want you to be very careful before you say that. Because when they say he didn't make the right choice about this situation, they're going to start talking about the other situations. He didn't make the choice. Then they're going to start campaigning for him to go. And guess who's going to be the quarterback? Guess who's going to be the head coach? Guess in the comments who you think going to be the next head coach. It said the boosters want the Staub. Yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It says Sean Lewis is the head coach at San Diego State. San Diego State is about to go over to the resurrected Pac-12. So he's about to be a Power 5 head coach. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? It said Coach Prime is compromised. I don't think he compromised. Well, if he is, it's gonna come out real fast. I think he's damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. I think they're trying to make him bend to their will and change his mind and admit that he's wrong about the QB competition, Caden, and Juju. I told y'all this ain't about Ryan Staub. This is about getting that Coach Prime. They've been plotting against Prime from the beginning, which is why sometimes I say they kind of came and got him from Jackson State to stop what was going on over there. I kind of think that sometimes they knew it was going to be short-lived. I thought I heard Sean Lewis is getting fired. Oh, maybe. I don't know. It said, look at Pat Schumer NFL record. He's a hot mess, right? So I don't know how he ended up at CU. I know where the recommendation came from, but I don't know why he was hired. I'm like, did somebody else hire him? Like maybe they didn't trust Coach Prime's decision-making because he hired Lewis and they had to move on from Lewis. So maybe they let Zimmer make a recommendation and the school decided to hire Schumer. Because this ain't making no sense. Because Shador had to struggle with that man all season long, and he's paying the price for it in the NFL. Why doesn't Deion call the plays? I thought he used to be an OC. Because he can't overstep the OC he brought in. It said he told Juju and Salter that nothing was guaranteed. Well, his word damn sure should be guaranteed because as you could hear in this interview, he named Caden the starter, and he actually told the reporters, I don't know why y'all surprised by that. And here we are, not 2 weeks later. So I don't care when you tell somebody nothing is guaranteed, but unlike Cleveland, when you have a competition and you choose not to name the winner, what the hell are you doing? So yeah, something is guaranteed. When you name the starter is the starter until you tell us otherwise. But being forced to put in style, come on now. It said, this is what I'm talking about. His bad treatment of Caden Salter will be the death of his QB recruiting. Okay, Brian, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's people on the internet. I think there are videos out there. There's a video or two with people saying they feel like he threw Salter under the bus. I hate that. I hate even the thought of that because that means they got to you. That means they're going to use you to do what they did to Shador, to Caden, and that's crazy. That's like eating your own young. That's insane. So we're going to see what happens. Good evening, Peter. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Ryan is not a starter. I don't know, Monique. I never saw him, but that's what they want. It's the reason why he didn't chose Ryan. I told people that. I said, for people who were saying, and I think a lot of people get caught up in the fact that Ryan is the closest to Shador because he's been growing behind Shador, and I don't doubt that. But the fact that Coach Prime could say that he was willing to give Ryan a letter of recommendation to move on if that's what he wanted to do. He had no intentions to use him. Just like Cleveland don't have no intentions to use Shador. You see how it's going? So what I'm telling you is this ain't about football no more in Colorado. It was, but it's not now. We walked into the game, into the season expected to see Georgia Tech. We knew what we should have seen, right? So Pat Schumer locks down the receivers and Caden. It makes it look like Caden is inept. It makes it look like if we go with Caden, we're going to bypass the receivers. Sincere Brown is a receiver that played against Caden. They know each other. He know that ain't the truth. And like people pointed out, why didn't Sincere Brown get a game ball? Very good question. Why didn't Sincere get a game ball? Sometimes it seems like to me, hold on one second. Sometimes I feel like Coach Prime finds himself in a situation at CU where there are people who believe that the white students and players aren't getting enough shine, aren't getting enough accolades, aren't getting the opportunities. So I remember when Coach Prime let everybody go, people didn't like that. And there's people that's still holding a grudge from that. There are people that are still upset with that. And part of trying to say that Coach Prime was wrong about Caden, wrong about Juju, and he means he was never right. They're not going to believe he was right about anything. He going to have been wrong about everything. And then the whole game ball situation. Again, I saw it. I didn't let it sink in my mind. It wasn't until people started talking about it. And I'm like, what do y'all mean? They talking about Sincere Brown didn't get a game ball. He gave everybody a game ball and he didn't give Sincere one. And I was like, wow. And sometimes these kind of things feel forced, right? Because I know that there were people who played for us in that Delaware game when we looked at the stats who probably should have had a game ball, right? And I don't know if he gave out game balls last year, to be honest. Let's see, getting ready to check something right fast. All I know is you can't let people force you in a power struggle. If you let them push you around, you're going to lose. And I think I told y'all a couple of days ago, that's what was going on, but people didn't want to believe me. I'm like, but you go listen to somebody else say it. That's the whole problem in a nutshell right there. All right. So if you were giving out game balls, let's look at these players. Let's look at these players. Now, for y'all that know who got the game ball, y'all going to have to tell me who's on this list. I think the kicker got one, and I know that made sense. Ryan Staub got one. Here it is, Colorado versus Delaware. All right. Let's see. Take these guys down. Because, see, that's what people not saying out loud. If you're saying that Ryan Staub is the guy, he should have been the guy, you're saying Coach Prime is wrong about his decision. They don't want to say that out loud because they don't realize that's what they're saying. They're like, oh, when you phrase it that way, then we're saying Coach Prime is wrong. Yeah, that's what you're saying. You're saying the decision he made 2 weeks ago was wrong. You're saying that Caden and Juju were the wrong decision. That's what you're saying. You're saying Coach Prime should have never brought Caden here, and you want to know why he brought Caden here, which means you think he was wrong. And that's where the war is going to go real fast. It's going to go real fast from there. So be careful what you're saying. And don't feed into they trying to undermine him, because that's what's happening. You saw the Georgia Tech game. You know it wasn't right that our receivers didn't get any looks. You know that ain't on Caden. And you know Caden wasn't calling his own plays. And for this week, the narrative to be Caden should have called his own plays when Shador being chewed up and spit out for it is insane to me. And now we running a Stefanski type competition that after we already had a competition, it goes right back to that tweet that said it's a shit show going on. Because that's what it looked like. And it's unfortunate. All right, so here we go. I don't know who got the game balls, but Caden Salter, 13 to 16, 102 yards with rushing 25 on the ground through 9 carries. That ain't bad. He still was the best quarterback. Then Ryan Staub at 2. So Caden was 81% accuracy. So he should have got one too. Juju again should have never been out there. Not in the context at which he was put out there. He should have been the last person to play just for exposure. That should have been it. But now they're using his name, talking about QB3 Ryan Staub takes over in front of 5-star Julian Lewis. That ain't good. That's right. That should have never been the case. And I felt like people forced that. And I don't know why, because I can tell you Juju wasn't ready. And he even didn't want to put Juju out there. He was like, I gotta protect this kid. But then why you put him out there? See, there's some pressure somewhere. And he's going to have to answer for that. All right, Simeon Price was the best rusher, 9 carries, 55 yards. If you think that was good, then he should have got a game ball. Sincere Brown, 120 yards, damn sure should have got a game ball. 4 receptions, 120 yards, 30 yards on average. Definitely should have gotten a game ball. Absolutely should have gotten a game ball. Now, why didn't he get a game ball? What's going on with that? So that's what people were talking about. Montavious French should have definitely gotten a game ball. Him or Jeremiah Brown, you pick one. Jeremiah Brown had 4 of 4, 4 tackles, 4 assists, and Montavious French had 4 tackles, 2 assists with 1 sack. Definitely should have got a game ball. Keaton Wade had a sack with 2. Yeah, the person with the at the top, that's who should have got the game ball. As on defense, Sincere Brown. On the receivers, Russian, Simeon Price, and Kaden Salter. Everybody at the top. That's why they at the top. That's why they at the top. That's how you give out game balls. And then when you come down here to the kick returns, Quentin Gibson, 1 for 14. If you want to, you can. Alejandro Mata, that definitely should have got a game ball. Definitely should have got one. And punting. 5 punts, 250 yards, 50 on average. Should have definitely got a game ball. See, it's simple, right? It's simple. When you look at the stats, I don't give a damn who you want to start. Kaden Salter is still your best quarterback. See, that's what people don't want to admit. That's on passion and that's on rushing. And as we pointed out the other day, Ryan Staub is a -2. This is why Coach Prime didn't choose him. But people don't want to accept that. And there's different agendas happening here. So is the Coach Prime still in control? Question mark. You're going to see when you get to Houston. What's the driving force behind the decisions? In Georgia Tech, it looked like Pat Schumer was in control. Pat Schumer said in his interview that Coach Prime asked him what he wanted to do with the 45 seconds because Staub was going in. And he said, yeah, let's do it. And Staub had already been prepared, already picked out his plays, already had the advantage. Juju and Kaden didn't get that. Nobody advocated for Ponder. And then now we going into Houston with the media trying to force a decision, with the students trying to force a decision, the same students that booed Kaden. How they know what the hell going on? Why they ain't roped up in the politics? They on the outside. People are acting like this is CU, we're the students, we're the boosters, we're the this, we're the media, that we get to decide. That boy Wig was right. Coach Prime made a decision and he should have stuck with it. Because now they got you. If you switch to Staub, oh, they got you. They're going to take you down every single time with the right side of that O-line because we ain't fixed that yet. And the people in 23, not even the same people in 24, not even some of the same people in 25, but somebody still got their hand on the button. That's obvious. People looking at Ryan Staub play, I'm looking at the fact that he had an O-line when Shadua didn't. So the game ball situation is interesting. I don't know. I don't know why it went the way it did, but it didn't go right. That's gonna be it. See, that's the problem. It's like if you got to be forced to give people this, that, and the other. When Kaden is listed as the first quarterback, the best quarterback, he did what you brought him to do: 81% accuracy and 25 rushing. Why he don't get a game ball? See, it's that kind of decision making. Sincere Brown, he balls out like Travis Hunter. Why he don't get a game ball? They're trying to give Ryan Staub the Archman treatment, right? And college football just want all the white quarterbacks to ascend to the top. So when it's time for them to draft, that's what they're going to do. And Pat Schumer was a part of that. That's where he came from. So Coach Prime hiring him was the worst thing ever. That's the worst situation ever. Deion will be fired. He has Staub for 1 more year and Juju for 2. Juju for 3. We're going to see how long he have Juju, and it ain't going to be as long as you possibly think. Because if they get away with this with Staub, they're going to do the same thing to Juju. They only using Juju name, just like they use Travis name when they want to stop Shadua. It's the same thing. You gotta be quicker than that. These people have no reason not to like Kaden Salter. He ain't in the news around there. He ain't done nothing. He just QB1, and they don't want that. So they willing to pit, or depending on who you talk to. Before Georgia Tech game, they knew. They heard what Coach Prime sat here and said. That he was going with Kaden, and it wasn't no question about it. So now they trying to force him to change his mind. And giving out game balls to people randomly is how you get in trouble. Because Sincere Brown should have gotten a game ball. So should Kaden. Because nobody wants to point out that Kaden was 81% accuracy and 25 on the ground. And Ryan Staub was a -2. But me? Yeah, Coach Prime did not say Ryan Staub is a QB1. Correct. And you see they trying to force the narrative, right? They trying to force the narrative. There's so much videos out there and posts talking about he won QB1. I was like, Lord, have mercy. They will still Coach Prime job like they stole Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah. You see, you know what? It's some people that's going to listen to that and they're going to get mad or they're not going to understand it and they're going to dismiss it. But that's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what's going to happen. Do you think Seton going to leave if he keep looking frustrated? I think so. Remember, before this season started, what did I point out? I said, all of our big guys, the young ones, they repped up big time. And y'all saw how upset Jordan Seton was. Why didn't he make Brett the OC? Monique, again, that's what I say. I have no idea where these choices came from. And really, we don't know. Some people speculate that Colorado named the OC. But I would think if Colorado named, what's the first one, Lewis? That they wouldn't have been okay with dismissing him. The question is, where the hell did Schumer come from? Because Schumer working against Coach Prime. It said, you're right. It said, I don't know what Deion is doing, but they are trying to get these white QB. Yeah, that's what they want. Moving, people celebrating moving Caden out the way. I'm like, all you celebrate is what they did to Shador because it's the exact same thing. People sharing the Utah 2023 game with damn one highlight of style. I'm like, talking about he better than Shador or saying that I knew that was coming. Or what? That he should be the starter. He had one highlight. And here's the thing, because they probably felt like he should have been the starter over Shador. Wasn't he there when Shador got there? Maybe that's what they wanted. And now that Shador gone, they don't want Coach Prime getting nobody else. But look at how they treated Shador. When that kid asked Shador at the open practice, he asked Shador for a recommendation because he want to go to CU. He said, I don't have no clout there no more. I see exactly what he means. I see exactly what he means. It say, you're right, sister. I don't know what Deion is doing. Yeah. These people trying to move him out. Schumer. Yep. It said, who the hell said Staub was better than 2 on X? They were sharing and circulating the Utah game. And people saw that and they like wanted to use that to say he should be the starter. And I knew it was coming. I was like, Lord, somebody was like, it looked like Staub better than Shador. I was like, don't start. No, I'm like, here we go. Because that's where we going. That's where we going. Understand, that's where we going. Coach Prime gonna be wrong about everything. All they trying to prove is that he wrong about Caden and Juju. Naming Caden the starter. Because what they don't know is, if Juju there next year, don't you think he gonna play? Yeah. That's the plan. Because you ain't gonna have Juju if you put Ryan Staub in front of Juju next year. That shit ain't gonna happen. Because you forgot, Juju was supposed to be the guy this year. So everybody talking about who's in line. It don't matter who in line. It's who the coach brought in. And other schools do this all the time. But Coach Prime can't do it because they want Ryan Staub. Why do you think the student section got a way in? Why do you think they're telling us how they feel? What they going to do? Stop coming to the games? Shit. My point is, if it ain't Caden, it's Juju. Understand that. Next year. So, and if Juju ain't ready next year, he ain't going to be there. That's what people talking about. Juju ain't going nowhere. Y'all better wake the hell up. Because if they let Staub come in now and move Caden out the way, what you think going to happen to Juju next year? You think Juju going to ride the pine next year? Hell no. Hell no. You going to sacrifice. You going to lose him. That's what you going to do. And it's going to be in January because everybody can see the writing on the wall. That's why what Coach Prime does is critical. But understand, if they force his hand to Staub, they're going to try to force his hand to be Staub coming out of college next year over Juju. And I don't know. I think it's going to be a fight before we get there. Understand, that's the bigger picture. If you force Coach Prime hand right now about Staub being the starter, then what the hell you going to do with Juju next year? Because he ain't backing up Staub. Juju is a 5-star. He going to be gone. You don't put no 5-star on the backup like that. That's crazy that Sincere didn't get a game ball. Yeah, I hope that's incorrect, but I don't think it is. Maybe he got one after the fact. You are speaking facts. Yeah, some people just want to be lied to. It's a lot of channels don't lie to you. So you can pick one of them. This channel's informed, educated. We do research, and we watch football holistically, not just on the college level, but we see what's happening in NFL. We see what's happening to Shador in Cleveland and in the draft. I like my hand is on the pulse of this situation from a 360 perspective. Understand that whether I talk about it or not. Understand that. So, what you think gonna happen if they force his hand about Staub? Staub is a sophomore. Some people say he got 2 years left. I think he got 1, which means even though he don't have NFL aspirations, what you think gonna happen in his NFL year, whether he wants it or not? I already know what's gonna happen. Whether he interested or not, they're gonna get him to do it. Stetson Bennett wasn't interested in where is he? Stetson Bennett wasn't interested in the NFL. He there. And they're gonna try to force Staub over Juju. I told y'all this ain't about Ryan Staub. This is about Coach Prime. This is about them pressuring him to bend to their will. This is about control. This is about power. This is about what it's always about. A black man don't get to say no. It's a long season. As coach, you don't want to give out the game easily. You want to keep your players hungry so they go extra for the reward and gonna come. Yep, let Deion cook. That's what they should let him do. Let him cook. Let him cook. They said Ryan Staub lost the Utah game. What the hell? Again, everybody got an agenda, I see. The people pushing for Staub got several things happening here. Staub, obviously, like he said, I just like the game. But as somebody who can see what the hell is going on in college and 17 to 32 in the NFL and understands that it starts in college, it happened to Milroe, it happened to Shador, it's now happening to Caden, it's now happening to Lenore Sellers, it's going to happen to Thomas Castellanos because they at the top. See, when you a threat, you're going to get moved out the way. Well, Pat Schumer did that already because I'm sure Caden is no longer in the top 15 like he was. I'm sure he's no longer the number 1 rushing quarterback because why? Pat Schumer shut that down. That will go on the record to be Coach Prime's worst hire. And guess what? He's from the NFL, the same NFL that took down his son. There's a lot of implications here. Some people do think that the reason so many of our guys were inactive was because this is about Coach Prime. Maybe they know he wanted to get rid of Pat Schumer, or maybe they're trying to force him to pick a quarterback. They're just trying to force him to bend to his will, to bend to their will overall. That's what it is. Now, we know Coach Prime is a God-fearing man, so he ain't going to bend to no human being's will. He will bend to God's will. But this is crazy. And this is what's happening. This is a power grab. And it starts by making Coach Prime look inept on decision-making at the QB position. Why we didn't have all these competitions last year? It said Coach P is a winner and not a punk, and he's going to do what's best for the team in a real way. Hey, Anthony. Yeah, I think he's a God-fearing man. I know he's strategic. But understand, the pressure is on. And for those of you that say they ain't worried about the pressure, I'm like, okay, because you don't know what the pressure is about if you say that. The pressure is to make him look bad. It's to make Coach Prime look bad. It's to undermine Coach Prime, to start the tearing away and ripping and shredding of his legacy at CU, to say he was wrong about everything from the moment he came through the door with his Louis luggage. That's what the pressure is about. So when you say you focused on a football game, baby, this is so much bigger than a football game. Just like it is in the NFL. I told you, 17 to 32 starts in college. And who comes out next year in the first round matters. And Caden wasn't even a first round projection, but he was top 15. Key word is was. I saw Caden's face today. And you know what I said to myself? Well, he want to go to the NFL, so it's best that he learn right now. He going to get stabbed straight up in the back. And that's what's happening. But these young kids always can't cope with that because they don't understand the bigger picture of 17 to 32. They don't understand that. So it hurts them. It don't hurt me because I understand it. It don't hurt me because it ain't happening to me. And that's how a lot of these analysts that are black on the news are on some of these channels. They don't care to repeat the things that hurt the Cadens and the Shadors and the Lenore Sellers. They don't care about that. Every week, Lenore Sellers look like he gonna be the #1 pick. They gonna find somebody else. Now some dude at Oklahoma. They will find any and everybody if it means Trump trampling over Coach Prime, the Prime effect, losing millions of dollars just to get Ryan Staub coming out of Colorado and not Caden Salter. It said, if you really think about this and how deep it is, those people are sinister and evil, and only God can fix it. That's it. That's it. I said it to myself before I went live. I said, ain't nothing we can do. This is a God thing. I think God has tried to put it on the hearts and minds of these black players to start their own league. And if they don't do it, God got a way of making you believe, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Last year with Shador, people saying the same thing about Caden, not realizing Caden is put in the same situation. And when they said Shador helped Staub, I just shook my head. I'm like, these people thinking that Shador is vindicated and Pat Schumer is trash because Shador had to change the plays and Ryan Staub had to change the plays. I'm like, you do know the difference between Ryan Staub and Shador, right? You do know they don't give a damn about Shador because he gone. You do know that Shador is paying the price in the NFL for changing Pat Schumer's plays. I read it to you yesterday. It ain't going to work for Shador like it's working for Staub. And if Coach Prime is not going to fire Pat Schumer, why put that out there? Why put that out there? Yeah, we know Pat Schumer's trash. Like I said, how the hell he can get the job? And if Coach Prime not going to fire him, why put that out there? Because you're just making things worse. You're just making things worse. Coach Prime does not bend to the will of any human. He going to do what God said, but he going to pay the price either way. And maybe that's to pressure Coach Prime from God directly to Coach Prime. Go start your own league. Go start your own league. And that's the message to all of these black players. Y'all have the power. Go start your own league. Somebody said it. I talked about it a few weeks ago. They said these players better save their money. And now, last week, all the CU's players, most of them inactive. And the only one, Zay Weaver, the receiver, no targets, and Travis is being trashed. So whoever said you better save your money, you better save your money. Caden looked hurt today, sad. Coach Prime said it. Ryan Staub is getting all the first team reps. That made people run with it and say that Ryan Staub is the starter. It made me traumatized because it just sounded like Cleveland all over again. And I have no idea why Coach Prime want to run back a competition that he already had. I don't know why he would look like he backpedaling and bending to the will of people when I know he can't do that. Because that ain't going to save your job. It did save Shador. It ain't going to save your job at all. Sticky situation, huh? Definitely not about football. Coach Prime is a threat to the, yep, he is. And that's why he need to go start his own league. I totally agree. Hey, RD, how you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, that's what it is. It said Wester. Oh, that's right. Wester did play. Nope, Wester did play. Yep, he played the first half. And then I think they switched over to Ali. But nope, he did play. So we were talking and people were asking me on IG and my DMs, why do I think that our guys were inactive? To be honest, I don't know. I had to go look up what it really means to be inactive. It means you get paid, but you don't play, you riding the pine. I don't know why that is. I know that's something from today's perspective that I haven't been paying attention to. So I can't tell you that. But just like I said about the Houston game, the further you get down the road, you're going to have an answer. The further you get down the road, you're going to have an answer to what's real, who's really in charge, what's really going on. Is there a threat somewhere? People would already question, is Coach Prime moving the way he is because he won't fire Pat Schumer because Shador could get hurt? I'm like, it can't be no worse than it already is. And that's when they asked about the inactive players. And I'm like, I don't really know. But I do know they trashed Travis today. I do know they replaced LeJontay with Ali because we watched that game. So I don't know. I don't know why that is. I know if it happens again, then you can begin to see a pattern. I don't see one yet because I haven't been paying attention. Not to that. The pattern that I see is that there are people that you can't see behind the scenes starting to creep out to the forefront to pressure Coach Prime to change his decision that he just made not 2 weeks ago about Caden and Juju. Understand, if you change the decision about Caden and it becomes Ryan Staub, who you think is going to be next year? Okay, so that's why I say Caden and Juju. And that's why Caden and Juju were both sacked and not Ryan Staub. See, people are thinking about the moment we in right now. Julian Johnson Law said what? Black people underestimate Jim Crow. They already got a plan in place to move Juju out the way so it could be Ryan Staub this year and Ryan Staub next year. That's where we at. Hey, Regina. That's where we are. This ain't just about this year. Ryan Staub cannot come out of college this year and go to the NFL. He's a sophomore. That's next year. And maybe that's why Jordan Seat was upset, because he see the play. Jordan Seaton and the rest of those players saw Juju get sacked on his opening drive and Caden get sacked twice in the fourth quarter by the same right side of the O-line, not protecting. Ryan Staub had protection in 2023 in the Utah game, and he had protection in the Delaware game. I said it. I'm like, damn. Ryan Staub had more protection than Shedeur. Go figure. So for all those people hollering, I want you to know what you hollering and screaming about. This ain't about no Ryan Staub. This is about a power grab. And it's supposed to be moving Caden and Juju out the way. Because once Ryan Staub gets to the front, they ain't going to move him. They ain't going to compete next year with Juju. They just going to tell him bye. Do Salter get another year to play? I mean, if he want to declare for a grad year, he can. Juju should have just redshirted. Juju and Caden should get the hell on. That's what they should do. That's what they should do. And that's what they going to do. I can tell you right now, y'all can come and hit me up on YouTube when it happened. And I ain't saying it's going to happen tomorrow. I'm telling you, if Coach Prime been to their wheel, and I know Coach Prime is smart, so I know he see it too. This ain't about Ryan Staub starting over Caden. This is about Ryan Staub this year and next year over Caden and Juju. This is about showing that Coach Prime is wrong and don't make the right decisions, starting with this one, the quarterbacks. And then when it go from there, it's going to go back and question every decision he made. Yes, they are gone. Yeah. Talking about it. People who don't want to, I'm like, no, it ain't that Juju should have redshirted. Remember, Coach Prime said Juju was a guy and went and got Caden. Went and got Caden because of the experience. Just made this decision 2 weeks ago that he's the starter after a summer competition that clearly it was already brewing on the ground in CU that people weren't happy that Staub wasn't considered, which means they're at the point where they no longer respect Coach Prime's decision-making ability. And it ain't going to stop right here at this quarterback situation. And it might explain why the hell it is Pat Schumer still work there. He going to be rendered powerless like Mike Tomlin. His job going to be to get the students ready, and somebody else is going to be calling the shots. And to me, it already looked like there's a changing of the guard. And not giving Sincere Brown a game ball is not going to sit right with those players. And the way Caden is being done is not going to sit right with those players. Not when they realize what the hell is going on. And some of them do. I guess Coach Prime's coaches. Coach Prime is not in control. It said there's a lot going on behind the scenes. They are looking for their great white hope. Yeah, and not just them, the NFL. Not just the NFL. I don't blame them either, Regina. I heard Pat State Staub has a QB mind. Right. He said, and we talked about what does it mean when they say the quarterback is cerebral and how Coach Prime used to say that about Shedeur. Did they give a damn? I like the way he plays. Pat Schumer came from the NFL with that racist trope of race norming. That's all this is. When I say Pat Schumer will go down as the worst hire by Coach Prime ever. I ain't lying. He being bitten. If he brought him in, because I still ain't sure. But regardless, he's being attacked by it's almost like when you eat your young, right? It's like Coach Prime. If people say he doing Caden dirty, then he eating his young because he brought him in. Coach Prime brought in Pat Schumer, but Pat Schumer doing Coach Prime dirty. So Pat Schumer is eating his young. You just can't do that. You just can't act like racism don't exist. You can't be in Colorado and only it's you and the people in the program and think that it don't exist. It's like that for a reason. You can't go through what you went through with Shador in the draft and think that it ain't gonna happen to you, because that's exactly what's happening. The same people that took him down, didn't Pat Schumer just come from there? And now they taking down Coach Prime. And the crazy part is they using Kevin Stefanski's red QB competition. I'm like, oh my God, this is the crazy. It's almost like we're going to turn you into Kevin Stefanski and make you betray Caden. Just like your son was betrayed. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I think for Coach Prime, this is who you going to be loyal to. And it better be Jesus. It better be Jesus. If Jesus tell you put style by day, you better do it, because that's for your own physical protection. And Caden's too. Just like Shador not playing in Cleveland, it's for his protection. I know Caden don't like what's happening, and I know he wish he had went elsewhere, and he should have. But he caught up in it. Because I feel like the pressure's so thick that if Coach Prime don't bend to their will, he gonna feel it some way, shape, or form. He gonna feel it. And that's the sad part, because it's true. You just don't know which direction it's gonna come from. He damn near like Mike Tomlinson. That's Mike Tomlin. Yeah, he damn near like him right now. Almost. Diabolical. Yep. Coach Prime coaches will be next. You gonna know. It said Peter said Brian Leftwich was at practice today. Good. And that's who need to be the OC. I got a feeling we're not going to have a winning season. I mean, we could, but it's a bunch of landmines out there. It's a lot of landmines out there. So if Byron Leftwich was back today, hopefully that means that Schumer will be gone. Hopefully that's what that means. And then it will explain why well-off media and people were saying that were cheering that Staub changed Pat Schumer's plays, because they were trying to prove that Pat Schumer is inept. But maybe Byron Leftwich is Coach Prime's only choice. But again, Brett Bergeron is still right there. So hopefully that's a sign of hope that Coach Prime can move away from Pat Schumer, or at least give some of the play calling duties to Byron Leftwich, because look here, bro. This is an all-out attack. And he got to render Pat Schumer powerless. Powerless. Because if you don't, it's going to be him or Pat Schumer. All facts. Yep. It said JJ can play 4 games and still red shirt. Yeah, he can at another school. Because if things keep going like this, he ain't staying. You really think that man is going to sit up and let his son ride the pine this year and ride the pine next year behind Ryan Staub when Coach Prime ain't the one calling the shots and Pat Schumer is? Are you crazy? That ain't happening. All people waiting to see is what the hell happening in this U of H game to tell you who's in charge. We already thought Pat Schumer in charge of Georgia Tech. Then it looked like there was a correction. There was a correction in the Delaware game, and we saw more of the type of offense we used to. Why would Coach Prime have to tell that to Pat Schumer? He was with the Shador last year because he want to do what he want to do, and he want to get his quarterback in there. And maybe he willing to abandon the run game as long as his quarterback is the guy. And that's in a direct opposition to what Coach Prime chose, which means, like I said, when I say Juju ain't going to be there, I'm talking about the politics at play. Nobody's leaving their kids in that. Loyalty is only up to a certain point. And when you begin to let people push you down and take your power, you ain't gonna have nobody be loyal to you. Colton Hood ain't gonna be the only one. I'm telling you, the saving grace for the program, maybe until things get straightened out, is that portal window moving from the fall to January. When I heard it, I said, oh, that's gonna save the program. Maybe things gonna get straightened out. And y'all saying Byron Leftwich was back. Hopefully that means he can be a buffer. And Coach Prime and Leftwich can work on the play calls. And that would mean CU will allow it. That's what that means. And they're not all stacked against him. So we're going to see. Cecile Brown hugged Coach Prime after the game. That's good, but did he get a game ball? The game balls were crazy. So many black players, black should have gotten game balls. That's what people were saying. And what I'm telling y'all, when you see what I'm saying, these are the conversations that are happening that I can see. I ain't picking up on nothing. I'm reading what's happening on X, on IG, what people DM to me, what I'm watching. Like you can see, and now I'm at the point where the tweet that I dismissed before the season started is true. I didn't like what I read, but see, a lot of people don't like what I'm saying. But guess what? I see what they mean now, and they're gonna realize a couple of weeks down the road too. I see what she was saying. Hey Pamela, how you doing? It says cerebral is a dog whistle. Right. And that's what I mean by he gotta go. To say that, and he didn't give Kate, he treated the crazy part, the irony. Schumer isn't doing exactly to Caden what Stefanski is doing to Shador. That's why when I heard Coach Prime said, Staub is getting all of the reps. I almost got traumatized. I'm like, why the hell are we running Cleveland SCU? Pat Schumer. It looks like Pat Schumer. If he ain't 100%, he about 80%. Because that's the only reason why we're doing that this year. That's the only reason why this is happening to Caden this year. That is happening to Shador this year. And he not at CU. The fix is in against these black quarterbacks. But the difference is Coach Prime is a black head coach, so it should not be happening. It should not be happening. So hopefully Leftwich can offer some relief and he can get the hell on away from Pat Schumer, because that's the biggest problem right there. That's the biggest threat to the program. And he came in with them NFL ways, including Ben should have gotten the ball. Ben and Jeremiah, yeah. It's a lot of people should have got a game ball. It's a lot of people should have got a game ball, but definitely Sincere Brown with the numbers he put up. Looking at Juju play, he should have redshirted. It said, take the year to lock in on offense with no pressure, then come in next year ready to ball out. I think he needs to lock in on the offense with pressure. I think he's fine without the pressure, and I think that's the problem. So over the summer, what did the development look like? And I know Coach Prime had to be gone, but I know there were people there that were doing, following his instructions, at least should have been. Juju is ready to be put in a situation where he can deal with the pressure. He shouldn't have to be sacked on his opening drive. Like, that's just straight setup. He wasn't expecting that. That's why it happened on the first drive. And for y'all thinking that he's safe, they're not fighting for Ryan Staub to be the quarterback over Caden this year. They know Ryan Staub got this year and next year. They fighting for Ryan Staub to replace Coach Prime's selections, his decisions, his choices. They want Ryan to be the starter and Juju to be the backup. You didn't. I hope y'all didn't miss that. They just want Caden gone. They just want Juju to be the backup to Ryan Staub. Colorado got their money right now. They want their program back. Right. That's all it is. Shador gone. They're like, all right. We're done. Hey, how you doing? Ring my bell 27. How you doing? Juju should go ahead and redshirt. Then he would be best for him. Juju is not staying at CU to be Ryan Staub's backup. That's where this is supposed to be going. Juju is not staying at CU to be Ryan Staub's backup. I don't care if you want Caden gone. Then you still got to deal with the situation with Juju. Juju is a 5-star. He is not about to be a backup to a 3-star. Even though the media has already started by saying QB3 has beat out 5-star Juju Lewis and senior transfer Caden Salter. That should not be the case because the competition happened before the season. So now you got the media stomping for Ryan Staub to move Caden out the way this year and Juju out the way next year. People not looking long term. You're not looking wide. You're just looking at U of H. It's not even about a football game for us at U of H. It's about the power. Who the hell is in control, making the decisions going forward for this program? And when we make a decision, are we going to stick by it? Or are we going to bend to the pressure? Juju gonna go all right. He gonna go. Shador, quarterback coach, was there today. Hope I don't know, but I want him on the payroll. I want select QB on the payroll. I don't care. He can work with all the quarterbacks. I want you to work with Ponder. I want you to work with Juju. I want you to work with Salter, and I want you to work with Caden because we got and the other boy too, number 14. We got all these quarterbacks. I want you to work with all of them. And that's what he need to be put on the payroll to do. He too good. The NFL too stubborn. So let's put him on the payroll at CU and watch them guys ball out. But in the meantime, trying to cut Coach Prime off at the ankles is Pat Schumer. And while Coach Prime is still sticking up for Pat Schumer and Doc Livingston, let's see how U of H go. And I ain't talking about on offense. Yeah, I better see Montavious French and Bayard out there, the edge rusher, the linebacker. I better see him out there. It said DNVR talks bad about Pat Schumer play calling. Yeah, they should. Did they call for Pat Schumer to be fired yet? That's a very good question. And this is why people said he should have hired Brett Bertolone. From all the people that came from Jackson State should have just started. They came to see you with Coach Prime from Jackson State for a reason. That's who the OC should have been. Because I think we will be much further along. But now we bogged down in this mess. And it's gonna be the case. It's gonna be the case for a while. JD2 said, it said, so Rick George is a part of the Bull Junk as well. It said, Pat told the story of how Coach Prime asked him to come to see you. Pat came out of retirement. Oh, Lord, Jesus. Whew, okay. So somebody wrong, right? Pat Schumer, obviously, Ryan Staub is his pick. And Coach Prime, his pick, Caden and Juju. So who wrong? So again, on Rick George, I don't know. And maybe that explains this new light, this new explanation. Thank you, JD2. Because I kept saying, I don't know where Pat Schumer came from. So if Coach Prime hired him and brought him out of retirement, knowing that his record was trash, and now you see Pat Schumer trying to put Ryan Staub out there instead of Caden, and that's this year. And when Ryan Staub take the reins, he ain't letting them go next year. That means Caden, that means Juju, your 5-star. That means 2 sets of parents and recruits and everybody watching gonna see the 2 people that Coach Prime brought in is gonna get moved out the way. I was on Threads. I saw some of the things they were saying. I can't repeat it here. So that's what I mean by they just undoing what he did. They trying to take his legacy and trash it, you know, by saying he wasn't good with decisions. And he was wrong about Caden. He wrong about Juju. He prejudicial because he could have chose Staub, but he didn't. Hits all the game balls to everybody but Cecile Brown and French Montavious and other people. These kids don't see that. And then they're going to look at Colton Hood and look at what he said. I might share it tonight because I didn't have it queued up. But I saved it. I bookmarked it on X. That what they're seeing for the first time is their head coach walk a tightrope, walk the middle of the line, make a decision. And he's not willing to do in about 360 and tell you who the starter is, but he can tell you that Ryan Staub got most of the reps. But that could be, I'm willing to help develop him for the future, but I'm still rolling with Caden. Again, the U of H game is going to tell you everything you need to know. And who the starter is, I think he's going to rotate them both. I think the pressure too thick for him not to. On both sides. On both sides. Again, this is not about Ryan Staub playing in front of Caden. This is about Ryan Staub becoming the name starter for CU this year. And of course, next year, which means what am I going to do with Juju? And they're not letting Juju sit for no 2 years. Is Bryce Underwood somewhere sitting? Like, let's not bend to people's wheels and just hold back Juju because that's what they want to do. No, Juju should not redshirt because Bryce Underwood is playing as a freshman in Michigan. And that's what everybody was talking about in week 1. Why is it that Caden has to play? Why Juju can't start? Now you see why Juju can't start because Pat Schumer didn't want that either. His guy is Ryan Staub. So for the people that were advocating for Juju, what you going to say now? Because if they get Ryan Staub in there, he ain't going to let go next year. And Juju not going to be in there. And Juju not going to be no backup to Ryan Staub because Bryce Underwood is not a backup. Now, mind you, at Alabama, 5-star. What's his name? I can never remember his name. Keelan Russell. He threw 1 interception, which means they used it against him like DTR, and they made him a backup behind a 3rd string at Alabama. But this is supposed to be Colorado with a black head coach. So how could that be? And it already happened to Shedeur. So how can it happen again with a black head coach? Again, looking like Mike Tomlin. Pat came out of getting fired. RK was crying, talking about Schumer should vary fire, and we need an OC. All right, good. Hopefully, that's the pressure. That's where the pressure need to come from. The pressure need to come from, and maybe Pat Schumer knew that. I don't know, but he seemed like he been plotting for a minute. The pressure need to come from the audiences, the voices saying fire Pat Schumer, because I know I done said it. Because that's what need to happen. That's your problem right there. Let's see, 1, if CU would even go for it after dismissing Lewis, and 2, it better happen fast. It better happen fast. So who Coach Prime? I think he gonna rotate them both. I think honestly that's what he gonna do, because I think he know if he go with Salter, they gonna set up his season just like they set up Salter, just like they set up Shedeur in year 1 and somewhat in year 2. And then if he go with Staub, he already know what he got to lose. He already know what he got to lose. He know his recruits. In my opinion, in 2025, if a player is a 5-star, a program has them for 3 years. Staub is a redshirt sophomore, meaning Staub has 3 years of eligibility. Juju is not going to sit behind someone for 2 seasons. Thank you. Thank you, because I'm telling you, that's not going to happen. For people that say that's what he should do, that is not going to happen. Before Georgia Tech, people wanted Juju to start. I'm like, I don't know what y'all looking at, but okay. Now people want Ryan Staub to start. I'm like, everybody got a choice in the race, and it ain't Caden. But the crazy part, that's probably your saving grace right there. But that's how it goes, right? That's how it goes. It said the state has nothing to do with it. It's the culture of the country recently. There is every level of boldness, right? And that's what I mean by people not paying attention to what's really going on. Like, this is a virus, and it's spreading, and it's on CU's doorstep. And from what I can tell, it's been there since the summer, but Coach Prime was gone, so it was waiting for him to come back. And before we could even get to game 1 and get a dub, we were already being set up to lose by people that work there, which is already what happened in year 1. So Byron Leftwich there gives me hope. Thank you, Lord Jesus. I hope it means that he going to let Byron Leftwich start calling some plays. I do know that he named Brett Bertolone the pass, which I'll say he is, the pass offensive coordinator. So to me, it appears that Coach Prime is trying to cut Pat Schumer out. And it might be that Pat Schumer moving with the quickness because he's trying to cut out Coach Prime and prove that he made a mistake with the quarterbacks. I don't know, but it ain't a good situation either way. We trying to win a football game. We can't even go to Houston with who gonna win. It's with the I can't even talk about the defense. I want to talk about the defense. Somebody came and thanked me for talking about the defense, but I still can't really get to it like we do when we sit down and look at the stats for offense and we look at the rushing and the receiving, and we can, isolate and talk about the best and who should be there. We can't ever get that to the defense, which is why the defense is sneaking out the back door with the game every goddamn week. And I don't think U of H is sorry. I don't. I think their coach is interested, though. U of H's coach is doing like everybody else that we play. They act soft-spoken. They mild-mannered. No bulletin board material. They seem nice and Christian, and they just come in and just try to get it. and I don't care what nobody say. Brent Key had help from Pat Schumer. And matter of fact, U of H coach, I told y'all, he was talking about Pat Schumer. He told me, yeah, they got some Pat Schumer's over there, right? That's how he's saying it, like he don't know. Let's see what happened. Because that good old boy network might work for them this weekend. Because I know it worked with Georgia Tech. It's that Prime need to get Pat Schumer the hell out of there fast, in a hurry. It said, right. It's that RK from Denver was going hard on Pat Schumer, right? And so why is it nobody's calling for him to be fired? You say he did call for him to be fired, or he just say he trashed? I need them to say fire Pat Schumer. Just like I say, hashtag fire Kevin Stefanski. Matter of fact, just put both of them in a hashtag. Fire Kevin Stefanski and Pat Schumer. And then maybe the connection to make sense to people. Because I'm looking at Cleveland slowly bleed into Colorado. I'm like, oh, Lord. Well, Coach Prime said Ryan Staub had most of the reps. He had most first team reps. I thought I would die. I was like, I know that this is not happening. I know this not happening. I have blocked Cleveland for a reason. And now Cleveland has come to goddamn Colorado with Coach Prime right there, which tells you everything you need to know about a power grab. This is why Salter Juju combo worked, because Salter is in his last year of eligibility, right? That's it. Tell us on Friday, members only. Oh, okay. Members only Friday at 6 o'clock. I'm just gonna schedule it tonight, and then we're gonna talk about the things that we couldn't talk about here that people been saying. There is a scathing post on Threads. I was like, wow. And some people just, I'm surprised it wasn't flagged. I think I saved it though. So on all social media platforms, people are starting to talk. They seeing it. They seeing it. They don't understand what they're looking at, but they see something ain't right. The fact Summer said CP asked him makes him seem incompetent. Thank you, Monique. Monique is talking about when Pat Schumer, some people talking dog whistles. I just noticed that. Pat Schumer was talking about when Coach Prime asked him, with 45 seconds left on the clock, what do you want to do? And he said, what do you mean or whatever? And he said, Staub is in. He told me, oh, okay, let's go. I picked up on the same thing. I said, oh, so he letting everybody know that Coach Prime is asking him what to do. Oh, okay. So now you know why the Georgia Tech game went the way it went. Now you know why Delaware looked different. Now you know why Ryan Staub was in the game, because Coach Prime goes to him and say, what do you want to do? So after the Georgia Tech game, Coach Prime press conference, he never strayed away from Kaden Salter. He didn't. He didn't stray from him. But 2 days before the game, he did. And it seems to me it came at the behest of Pat Schumer, because look how he talks about the relationship and the fact that he helped Ryan Staub to get ready, but he didn't help Juju. He didn't help Kaden. That's why Byron Leftwich is back, right? And I know Coach Prime had to call Byron Leftwich and say, look, I need you to come back here. And he does need him to be there. But personally, I don't know why he just don't get Brett Bertelon to do it. See, I would be out on the NFL, because that's eating itself, right? They willing to destroy it from top to bottom to make sure 17-32 don't happen, and it's bleeding over into college. And now it's bled its way with Colorado turning into Cleveland. That ought to tell you what I mean by he's getting ready to be Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin had 2 black quarterbacks, Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And Russell Wilson took him to the playoffs. And now he got 2 white quarterbacks. And Coach Prime going to be the same way. He named 2 black quarterbacks, Caden Salter and Julian Lewis. And you're going to look up a year from now. It might not even take that long. And it's going to be 2 white quarterbacks there. Why? Because no black quarterback is coming to see you to change Pat Schumer's plays. Why you just don't fire Pat Schumer? And the fact that you don't fire Pat Schumer, you either unwilling or you can't. And that's a signal to people that he's not in control. This ain't about football. It's a power grab. Yep, that's what he did. And actually when Pat Schumer said, well, I knew the students would respond to him. You see, why do students have a say-so into what the hell is going on in Colorado football? It proves that Pat Schumer is setting up the division, the team. I knew everybody would respond to him. Why ain't they responding to Caden? They ain't have no problem responding to him at practice. You see? Coach Prime asking me what to do. I knew everybody would respond to Caden, so I made a better decision than Coach Prime. I told y'all he was happy as hell after that interview, after the Delaware game, just sitting there looking like a proud grandpa. And I'm like, why you so damn happy? What happened to your run game that you primarily wanted to focus on? Oh, that was only when it was Shedeur and Caden. Oh, okay. I just got a feeling that the QBs won't do good this Friday. They better. Salter to the transfer portal. Juju too. Okay, I'm going to remind y'all. Juju, London Merritt, Jordan Seaton, maybe somebody else are all repped up. And Juju is a freshman. By big time. I think Juju might be repped up with David Mulligetta. If you don't know who that is, go look it up. This is the agent. This is the agent. I think Jordan Seaton might be clutch. But by far and large, David Mulligetta is huge. That's who I said if Shedeur got to get an agent, even though I think he need to start his own, that's who he need to get. Juju's a freshman. And if he already truly ripped up with that man, he ain't going to let him sit there. I told y'all, Clutch ain't going to let Jordan Seaton sit there. These people repped up for a reason. They've been on the ground all summer. We just now finding out what's going on. Julian Lewis, 18th birthday, September 21st. Yay! Monique Marsh, I know. Why is he asking Schumer what he should do? Yeah, I don't know. I heard him say that, though. But some people talking dog whistles, and I think Schumer's one of them. This is his last year eligibility. He wouldn't have grad eligibility to play that 5th year. Hell, how did Dylan play for 6 years? Salter could do that too, but it ain't gonna matter. Just because of the climate of the NFL. It's that the O-line built a fort around Ryan. Thank you, Monique. And everybody see it. And that means Coach Prime know too, right? So if you bend to their will, knowing that you're being set up on the right side, just like Shedeur was, you must have a plan to eradicate it. You must. Because if not, then they gonna be telling you what to do next. That's how you lose control. When you know that there's a problem, you know Pat Schumer's a problem. I feel like the people that were trying to show it on camera and talking about it by saying Shedeur was helping stop, I feel like everybody, the people that were doing that, were trying to vindicate Shedeur by saying Pat Schumer's trash because Ryan Staub had to change his plays too. I'm like, if Coach Prime don't want to fire the man, then you shouldn't have did that. Because it proves that Coach Prime knows there's a problem. And either he can't change it or he refuses to. And neither one of them are a good look. Now, let's hope Byron Leftwich being there means that he still has some control and he trying to strategically move around it. But he don't have all season to lose. He don't understand. He don't have that either. Because that's also not a good look. Hey, here, rule. Well, then lose a year eligibility. Then Juju, you can always jump in the portal with all 4 years of eligibility. He a 5-star. He a 5-star. He'll be fine. Juju's a good kid. The only reason it would hurt is if while going through this exercise at CU with people talking about Ryan Staub, a 3-star, takes over ahead of Juju Lewis, a 5-star freshman. If that kind of stuff starts to hurt him, then yeah. But again, he's wrapped up. It ain't. It's not. It's not. So it don't matter if he only got 4 years left. Hell, he ain't gonna be in school for all 4 years. How did Pat Schumer not call a timeout during the Georgia Tech 2-minute drill? Yeah, for what? What do you want to call a timeout for? RK said Pat Schumer should be fired. The students were chanting, "Fire Pat Schumer." Good. Glad to know that, Peter. Thank you for sharing that with the podcast community. Houston is going to mollywop CU. And I hope Staub is there. I don't know what's going to happen. Thank you, Mr. Irv. Mr. Irv said CU is going to lose. Lord have mercy. I said CU was going to win. Drop your projections in the chat. I said CU wins 27-17, something like that. Pat Schumer head coach record at Cleveland 2011 and 12 was 2-9. 9 wins and 23 losses. Lord, jeez. Mike Tomlin had Michael Vick and Byron Leftwich and Charlie Botch. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. I pray CU has another win this week. Yep. I pray they get it together. I pray that Coach Prime puts an end to all of this politicalness that's coming his way. I pray that Byron Leftwich steps in the gap. And again, I don't know why Brett Bertolone can't be the OC, but that's what I want. But I'll take Byron Leftwich. I'm just sick of the NFL, period. I know y'all are like, he's black. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not sure if he's 100% committed. I know Brett Bertolone is right there on the ground. They went to the SWAC in 2021. So I'm just saying, I know he got to get rid of Pat Schumer ASAP. Why is Schumer up in the box and not on the sidelines like he was with Shador? They were banking on Deion not returning. That might be it. I don't know. Maybe that's what they thought. That could be what they thought. Deion is trying to win and send a message to the NFL. He made the Browns look stupid doing the third stringer, starting the third stringer in winter. You really think he made the Browns look stupid? I want you to think about what you just said. He made the Browns look stupid. But today, Colorado reveals they run in Stefanski's QB tracker system with first team reps going to Ryan Staub. So letting Cleveland bleed into Colorado and disrupt Caden the same way Shador was disrupted by the NFL is not Coach Prime outsmarting Cleveland at all. If you could keep Cleveland out of your offense and your program, then you win. But from what I see, it's slowly but surely bleeding in. Like, why would you do what the hell Cleveland is doing? And why would you allow the same thing to happen to Caden that happened to Shador? So that's not smart. It said Gabriel had that magical COVID year. So that's why. Was Shiloh in school for 6 years too? Ghost Tanessa? DL said that is saying the players are in undermining the Buffs. The players are not undermining. Well, the players could be. A lot of people are undermining Coach Prime. Like Deion is sticking with Schumer out of principle. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna pin that. All right. I think Coach Prime is focusing on winning, nothing else. Yeah, we hope so. Is Leftwich still there? Somebody say he's back. He was there, he left, and he's back. Hopefully he's back. The portal opens in January. Once CU takes Prime decision making away, he will leave. Yeah, he's gonna be rendered like a lame duck. Praying the creator keeps Deion covered. Yep, that's what we need. And we need Coach Prime to yield to the creators, whatever it is, because it ain't always easy. It ain't always easy. It's not. So we hope that he continues to walk in God's path, because it's getting tough. They're treating Coach Prime like Mike Tomlin. He also has limited power, right? CU 14, Houston 37. Wow, Beach. Wow, Beach, you ain't giving us no chance. Beach just said we gonna lose 14 to 37. My goodness. Are you saying that we can't stop the run? Beach, I need you to defend them numbers. What's up with that? What's up with that? I love your take for Ryan Staub. Just look better right now. This ain't about Ryan Staub. That's my take is this ain't about Ryan Staub. I'm not going to front Salter looks good, but he also has to make routine throws. Okay. And what we talking about is not about Ryan Staub. It's not at all. You advocating for Ryan Staub, who Pat Schumer helped when he didn't help the others. And understand this is a power grab. So if they make Coach Prime bend to their will by threatening his season, just like the first year one, and if somebody got their hand on the button because the right side of the O-line, hell, they protected Kaden Salter. Protecting Ryan Staub when Shador didn't even have that type of protection. So understand that if he's forced to bend or he feels like he has to bend to their will, whether it works or not is a problem. Because if they move Kaden out the way this year, Ryan Staub has another year. And if he so chooses to stay at CU, Juju ain't going to start. And nobody's going to let Juju sit there. That's what y'all are not realizing, that this is a bigger play. These people have a long-term plan. Julian Johnson Law. Black people underestimate Jim Crow. CU 32, Houston 16. Okay, you say we're going to win. Good. It said y'all don't think Staub is processing it. I don't care what Staub do. I really don't. I don't care if Staub win. I don't care if Kaden win. I don't care if Juju win. I care about a bunch of people behind the scenes and Pat Schumer trying to undermine Coach Prime and move him out the way. That's what I care about, because that's where we are. That's where we are. Why you think they're working so hard to get Coach Prime to change his mind on Kaden and Juju? Why you think they're trying to put Staub in there? Because he got 2 years left, and that removes Kaden and Juju. This ain't about Ryan Staub. This is about power. This is about power. It's only one game. Yeah, we got about, how many left? 10? About 10. They have a few games left. They got 10 games left. It don't matter, though. It said, Prime, take your influence back to HBCUs. I don't even see that happen. They need to just start their own league. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. It said Deion knows all he has to do to win. This ain't even about winning and losing. To some respects it is, but it's way bigger than that. When you're in a power grab and people try to force you to go into a particular direction, they already have a plan in place for when you say no, for when you buck them, for when you refuse to bend the way they want you to bend. They already have that plan in place. CU 21 and Houston 42. Okay, I like it, Regina. I really hope I'm wrong. Wait, you saying we lose it? Oh, Lord. I thought you was giving us 42, Regina. Oh, I hope you're wrong, too. I want us to win this game. I want us to win this game and go on with our season. But there's some other things dragging along, holding on to the legs of the program, just dragging on the ground, just making it more difficult. I pray Coach Prime put a foot in Pat Schumer's rear. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm hoping that's what Byron Leftwich is back. I'm hoping he's back. I say people fight Jim Crow instead of starting their own. Yeah, I don't know. It said Prime wants to win. He said he don't care who plays. Yeah, Colorado will win. I pray the team undermines Pat. That's what I pray for. I pray that the team itself realizes that it's being intentionally divided so their coach can lose. I hope that they have the discerning spirit, somebody on the team to say, look, guys, we being torn apart. That's all this is. You got to look at what's going on in the world. But see, a lot of college students don't always look outside of their campuses and outside the college orbit to look at. A lot of people don't when they at that level. So that means you can't see that you're intentionally being divided to disrupt your program so your coach can look bad. No, Schumer's not calling the right game. And the fact that he called the game was called better and the Delaware game tells you that Schumer knew what to do, but he chose not to. That's the part that people keep overlooking. Pat Schumer might have been trash in the NFL, but he know exactly what the hell he doing right here at Colorado. And he feel like he had a right to do it. Now, why does he think that? Why would he go and call a game like that for Georgia Tech? That was horrendous. He should have been fired by now. He should have been, his headset need to be gone. He just need to be demoted. But now he's provoking division within the program using the quarterbacks by saying Coach Prime asked me what to do. And then I knew the students, the players would respond to the quarterback. So I know better. He said he's not playing anybody based on their rating. Yeah, I don't care what nobody said at this point. The everything coming up to this U of H game, every decision made will tell you what's going on. Because at this point, I don't believe what nobody say. I don't believe what nobody say. I know Coach Prime made a decision, and I can't tell you if he gonna switch it up, if he gonna backpedal, or if he gonna stay with what he said, or if he gonna buy. I don't know what he gonna do. I really don't. I know there's implications for all of it. And I know that this is not about just a football game. I know that this is not about Ryan Staub. I know that. Juju Dad and his agent isn't going to let that happen. It's a lot of people. Their kids are wrapped up big time for a reason. I was like, God, darn. I was like, they freshmen. I guess it helps if you have that kind of representation when you're ready to move on, right? Yep, Dion has never followed the status quo, right? And it should not happen right now. It should not happen right now because he already made a decision. And we watched the interview. And what he said was he didn't know why they were even questioning him on his decision. And that should tell you all summer while he was trying to heal from, fighting cancer that they've been plotting. YouTube keeps unsubscribing me. I wonder what the parents of these Colorado QBs, black QBs, are saying. A lot. A lot. Because I'm a parent. I know. You like, let me talk to you for a second. And you know what? Some of them don't even want to talk to him no more. These kids are repped up. I'm telling you, our best are repped up as freshmen. Understand that it's for a reason. It's a lot of freshmen out here not repped up all over the country. That number 1 and number 2 QB need to make it happen. They say audibles need to be called to make plays. Pat Schumer's still involved with audibles. The audibles are plays that are designed for the quarterback to go away from in agreement with his coach. Shedeur is not paying the price for audibles. He's paying the price because he just made decisions on plays on his own. Cater will not be able to get away with that. And he knows that. That's why he's not out here hot dogging it. Because he sees Shedeur paying the price for it and he know he black. Shiloh played 2 years at SC, 2 years at Jackson State, and 2 years at C. Oh, wow. He was 6. Oh, I thought he was 5 years. Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Ghost Anessa. It said, no, Ryan changed Pat Schumer plays. Pat Schumer didn't call Sincere Brown pass play. No, we know that. We know that. But we also talked about how when Shedeur did it, and it's documented because I read it yesterday, the NFL talked down on Shedeur for changing Pat Schumer's plays. But nobody's going to say anything about Ryan Staub. So people think they getting ready to vindicate Shedeur by saying Pat Schumer play calling is trash because Ryan Staub changed his plays. Okay. You do understand what's happening here, right? Ryan Staub and Shedeur are not the same people. And they clearly got different backing. Because Ryan Staub said he didn't want to go to the league. Just like Stetson Bennett said he wasn't worried about it. And you see Stetson Bennett is in the league and Ryan Staub will be too. And they're going to make sure he go higher than Shedeur. Bet on it. Because of what's happening. This ain't just a fair situation happening here. And, Pat Schumer's trash. If Coach Prime ain't going to get rid of him, what is the point of pointing it out? It's not going to make the NFL ease up. on Shador. Because if anybody thinks that that's what's happening here, oh, Shador wasn't the problem. Pat Schumer was. Pat Schumer also said Shador was like, what's his name? Daniel Jones, on and off the field. Pat Schumer is one of them. People don't understand that NFL fraternity of offensive coordinators and head coaches, that there are no black offensive coordinators. They have whittled down to 0. Was Byron Leftwich as an offensive coordinator in the NFL? He was one of the ones they got rid of, if he was. Instead, I understand you're saying you feel like Coach Prime is being low-key sabotaged and Schumer has a rapport with Staub and wants him to be in the face. You think the NCAA wants to see Prime fail? Hell yeah. There is not one, as of last year, one black man on the NCAA committee. I was like, how is it that football and basketball bring in the money and are black-dominated sports, and there's not one black man sitting on that advisory board committee, what have you? Not one for the NCAA. Not one. And then they moved the NCAA out the way and went and got the NFL Oversight Committee. Who is on that? Who is on the NFL Oversight, NIL Oversight Committee? Let's see, shall we? Who's on it? It said there isn't a single NIL Oversight Committee, but instead a new structure that has been established through the House versus NCAA settlement, calling the College Sports Commission to oversee. Yeah, who sits on that? That's what we want to know. Who sits on the College Sports Commission that gets to vote on what happens? That's the question. Revenue sharing, leadership. Let's see. Brian Seeley, Chief Executive Officer. Not him. John Bramlett. Not him. That's 2 people that I see. And no, nobody. So, there you go. Instead, I think Deion's ultimate goal is to go to the NFL. Not after that draft. I asked because Coach Prime is a cash magnet. They don't care about that no more. See, you know what people don't understand about when you bring something to the table? 2 things. This is America, okay? When black people bring stuff to the table, what happens to it sometimes? They take it, right? We built Oscarville, all of these towns across the country, and they got flooded out or eminent domain. Every last one of them. Philadelphia just straight up bombed. They say Memphis being poisoned. Look at the Negro League. There were black baseball leagues. There was a black baseball league. There was a black football league. They decided to integrate, which means they annihilated the competition and made the competition themselves. And now, how many black men play Major League Baseball? So you can bring something to the table and they're going to study it and they're going to figure out, they're going to use your relationships and they're going to let you set it up. They already got their TV deals. They don't need Coach Prime for TV deals going forward. They just need Colorado to win games. And I think most of the games, all of the games last year were televised. Right now, there's not a schedule for all of the games to be televised. They're taking a wait and see approach. And then what's going to happen is, since Coach Prime has been there, they've been making relationships with all of the media people. So if things go south this year, I already know what they're going to say. Yeah, don't worry about it. We're going to go ahead and put somebody in place and we're going to be good from here on out. And then they're going to sign them for the whole year next year or the year after that or whatever, whenever that comes. You're valuable as long as they want what you have. But the moment that you align or they figure out what it is that the mojo that you have, they're going to copy and paste it. And then they're going to move you out the way. That's the American way. That's just how it goes. If you don't believe me, look at all the cell phone companies that no longer exist. that used to exist. Look at all the banks that no longer exist that used to exist. They get gobbled up by their competitors. Look, Toys R Us is always the most famous case. Toys R Us is the most famous case of somebody that was minding their business and making money and didn't think they had nothing to worry about because bigger stores surely had what they wanted. You know, they own toy departments. But they were making so much money as an independent that a plan was hatched for them to be purchased and destroyed so that the people that didn't have what they had didn't have no competition. Crushed the competition. If Prime don't do nothing else, he gonna stand up for these young men. Yep, that's it. That's one of the implications. One of the implications is, okay, we talked about Sincere Brown should have had a game ball. It don't matter whether Sincere heard Coach Prime or not. The point is Sincere Brown should have had a game ball. There's no reason why he didn't have a game ball, right? Kids see that type of thing. They see what's happening to Caden. Why you think Jordan Seaton was upset at first? Jordan Seaton was there when Shador struggled with the play calling, right? And it's still allowed to happen. I'm telling you, these kids are repped up for a reason. We're going to get ready to get out of here. This was good. We'll be back tonight at 10:35. We're talking about Shador. Checking in, a Shador watch. Also, Shiloh got a Bachelor of Business Administration from JSU, Masters in Organizational Leadership from CU. Oh, wow. Okay, good. That's really good. Deion and Shador in the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar endeavor. College will be in the rear view. Yep. But they're going to have to start their own league to do it because the NFL don't want their money. They don't want the money they can bring. If you've been paying attention to NFL football this past Sunday, you saw two brothers who were doing the broadcast for one of the games. Can you guess what their last name is? Starts with an M. And the hunt is on to replace Arch Manning as who they thought they was going to prop up as the number one pick. So they went and found somebody from Oklahoma. Again, Lenore Sellis is right there. 17-32. I don't think Prime can do anything with the coach right now. Not during the season. I don't know, because wasn't the whole Lewis to Schumer switch in season? Yeah. And I think they said Byron Leftwich's title is offensive analyst. So that's how Pat Schumer started. So yeah, something can be done. I believe this mess is already going to affect recruiting. It could, Donald. How you doing? It says Salter has to decide if he's going down his way or because Pat called bad plays for him. Adversity, and it prepares him for the NFL because the same thing going to happen. Peyton did it all the time, and they called him genius. Right, that's what I mean, right? I think that's what we were talking about. Somebody said during one of the podcast episodes, Peyton Manning used to wave his punt with the field goal team off the field, and Tony Dungy was his head coach. In other words, he was telling his coach who was sending out the field goal unit, I got this. Shador couldn't do that. Neither can Caden Salter. But Ryan Style can. If it's Coach Prime, just like Tony Dungy. You can't ignore that that's what's happening here. You being naive if you think that's not what's happening here. This is not about a football game. This is about power. I'm old enough to know who Deion is. So am I. I'm old enough to know that he is in a situation. I'm old enough to know. I don't want to say he's never been in this situation, but since I've known him to coach, I can't figure out, because it's still early. It might be too early to tell if this year or year one is going to be more problematic, because he's in the same situation. They don't like the decisions that he's made, and they trying to upend it, and they want him to change course. The only way they're going to like him is if he does what they say. So, yep, he's a businessman. And goes to Ness and say, hell yeah, the NCAA want him out. Why do you think the refs was cheating us? There will be black leagues again. Yeah, out of necessity. But it shouldn't take that. They should be able to get going right now. Pat Schumer says Shador is a very similar prospect to Daniel Jones. Yes, Lord, have mercy. That was enough right there. They're getting us out of baseball now. They're going to get you out of football too. Pay attention. They finna get you out of football. But they're trying to trash Travis. See, they have a love-hate relationship with Travis. I feel like for people to trash him, that he was more impactful on wide receiver instead of defense is insane. Why you just can't be happy he was impactful on offense? It was his first game. And I don't even know how much he practiced on defense, because there are people that say he should have never won the Heisman. And this is what I mean by, if they can prove one thing is a problem, they're going to use that to upend everything. Just like with Travis. He did better as a wide receiver in the game, and they want to go back to the Heisman and take it. You see? So Coach Prime named Caden and Juju the starter, and people don't like it, and they say Staub is better. So now they want to take that one decision, and they want to change it and upend it, and God knows what happens if he don't do it. And they want to go back to when he first came in with his Louis luggage. That's what people keep choosing to ignore, is the plan. If I can prove, it's just like in court. If I can prove doubt, if I can plant a seed of doubt, then I'm going to use it to undo every damn thing you did. That's what they're doing. Just trying to plant a seed of doubt so they can undermine the man and go back to the beginning and hold him accountable for the things, the decisions that he made that they didn't like from day one, because they didn't want him to be the head coach. That's what this is about. This is a power grab. They can't copy and paste foundational Black American. It drives them crazy. I suggest you go and watch the news. They ain't trying to copy and paste this. They ain't trying to copy and paste this deal. I hate to tell you. See y'all later, Peter. Yep, see y'all later. Interesting how other podcasters are saying Coach Prime is not in a threat with his coaching. People do not see it because they don't want to see it. They want to wait till it happens. They never should have I think they should have kept their leads. Yep. To my Rex Ryan. All right, we're going to get out of here. All right, y'all. This was good. This was good. This was good. On to Houston. On to Houston. We'll be back tonight at 10:35, which is momentarily. Might be tomorrow then. We made it from 7:35 to 10 o'clock. You see what I'm talking about? I might be back a little bit about 11 o'clock then. And we'll just do a you up late and just chit chat. Maybe. We'll see. Turn your notifications on. But otherwise, again, you got to go up the road a little bit. There are people who can see what's happening, what the intent is. And then there's always going to be people who want to say, no, that's not the case until it happens. So you decide where you want to get your information from. That's all I'm going to say. You can listen to all sides and just wait for it to happen and then look back and see how the people who could see it coming, how they derive at that type of conversation. So I'll see y'all later. I'll see y'all later. Have a great night. Have a great night. Have a great night. Yeah, I'll just see y'all later. Have a good one, everybody. Y'all take care of yourselves. Keep reading. Just keep reading. Keep reading. Don't matter what you read. Just keep reading. Just stay up and keep reading. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. All right. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.